Oh, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either.
I don't think I made that up.
Oh, I don't
Maybe
remember
I
that.
did. All right, I guess we're ready to party.
Like it's 1999?
Yeah, I'm Kristin, and with me today is Sarah
Hey.
and Will.
Hello.
You are new to the podcast.
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You guys are going to be my horror team.
Heck yeah.
We're going to be hearing a lot of you around October because there's way too many horror films that I'd like to do for this year, but it's a
We
little
do
sneak
love our
peek.
horror,
Yeah. Today we're talking about Idle Hands.
which is a wonderful movie.
So you picked it. I don't think I had it on my list at all.
And I think that was because of him.
Okay.
I think that was Will's
I am a
doing.
big fan of Idle Hands.
Okay, so I guess that answers my question of why you chose it. Anything else you would like to say? When did you first see it? Was it around 1999, like when it first came out?
Yeah, it was. I grew up and we had the HBO channel, so
Oh.
I actually saw it when it first
Fancy.
came out,
Uh-huh.
essentially.
Was it just on HBO or did it come out in
No,
theaters?
it came to theaters,
Okay.
but I remember watching it on the HBO channel.
So
and-
pretty early
Right.
after it came out.
So I was pretty young at the time. I
Probably too young to be watching
I don't know.
that movie.
probably...
Maybe.
Because you are older than Kristin and I, so you would have been, what, like 12, 13? How
13
old are
years
we?
old.
13.
Okay, so you're about the same age as Brandon then. Yeah, that makes it a lot different.
It's shocking how much of a difference just like 2
Yeah.
years makes with some of these things. We talk about that sometimes. Like things will remember that I don't
Right.
at all.
And even the things that strike us, because I had just got done editing the episode for Big Daddy, and there's a gay couple that features quite prominently in
Right.
the movie. And for me and Amber, who were 10 at the time, we did not even remember that this was a thing.
I didn't either when I listened to your episode.
And for Brandon, it was like this huge deal among his friends of like, we have never seen this depicted before. So it
Right.
actually made an impression on him, whereas for us.
I didn't
like,
remember
just-
that at all
I didn't
until you
either.
were talking about it.
And so just those few years can really make a difference.
Yeah.
So did you just catch it by accident on the channel? Did you go seek it out through the TV guide?
No, I would have probably just saw it on at the time. Well, and I was also, growing up, I was super into horror movies. So anytime I could catch a horror movie that I hadn't seen before, a horror comedy like this,
Yeah.
I was interested in seeing. And of course, this was the age of Devon Sawa. So
Yes.
Who I love. That will
Yeah.
come up later, but
Okay, all
I
right.
love Devon Sawa.
So you were into horror from a very early age.
yes, that is one of my
Interesting.
fondest memories, I suppose, is even when I was growing up, my parents would let me go to the local Farmore, and every week I got to rent one Super Nintendo game and one movie, which would always be a horror movie
Wow.
that I was way too young to
That's
be
crazy.
watching.
Man, those are the days
I'm-
of rentals.
I mean, we were watching Ren and Stimpy probably earlier than that. So
True. And South Park. I've mentioned that to Will several times. Like
South Park was definitely third grade. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of inappropriate stuff that I was watching with my parents. So for you to just have free reign, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did you first see it, Sarah?
So I actually didn't first see it until this past Halloween. I don't think I had even thought about it. I'm sure I had heard of it, but I had no inclination of what it was. And every October we kind of do we watch horror movies all month, a lot of them.
Right.
And Idle Hands makes like an exceptional palate cleanser after you watch like a really dark, awful
I do not
one.
doubt it. Yeah.
It's like a good one to throw on to not feel so horrible.
Because it does very much feel like, I mean, it is a teen comedy, and that's what it feels like. It's just there's also blood and
Exactly.
gross stuff.
But yeah, I hadn't seen it until just this past year, so it's kind of fun that it's popping up already.
Cool. So before you watched it for this, was it October was the last time you had seen it?
Yeah, until this past
I'm sure
week.
goes for you too.
Probably Halloween.
Yes, we did watch it last year, but prior to that, it probably had been since I was in high school in the
Oh, okay.
early 2000s, I would
Okay.
imagine.
Longer than I thought.
Idle Hands has always
fun.
been one in the back of my mind that I always remembered, but it was just never a movie that I sought out to like, oh yeah, that's what I want to
I
go
should
watch
own one.
right
Yeah.
now.
All right. I think we're going to move on to the IMDb summary. A teenage slacker's right hand becomes possessed with murderous intent. So what can you tell me about this movie? What did you notice?
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start with that one.
We open with there's this middle-aged couple that has just finished decorating a house.
Which can I interject real quick?
Please do.
I want to be those people when we are old. I want to be with the house with the crazy decor.
My boss is like that. He collects Halloween stuff all year round and does the craziest shit with his yard.
I love Halloween. I want to be those old people that...
Halloween's my Christmas.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Same here.
But they did make a comment about, like... So they had just finished putting up their Halloween decorations, and then, like, later on the news, they were like, Halloween's in 1 to 2 days. Like...
What?
You just got done with your
Halloween
decorations?
I don't think I caught that.
Halloween is 2 months. Come on.
Yeah. I don't think I got that part.
Like,
yeah.
What's the point? If you're
You miss out on all the fun if it's just 2 days before.
What we see in this bedroom is, I guess, the lights go out.
I think you're hearing sounds at first. Just some, like, I can't remember if it's banging around or what, but...
And then, like, the dad is like, it's nothing.
It's nothing. It's Anton or it's Bones or...
Dumb son.
Yeah, our dumb kid who didn't help with the decorations. And so they shut the lights off, right? And they settle in for bed. And she looks up and sees in random glow-in-the-dark paint, I'm under the bed.
So they freak out.
Which you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
She makes her husband look under the bed, and he's like, there's nothing under here.
And then they hear more knocking around. She, like, forces him to get up and go check.
Right.
Which, no.
The cat comes up on the bed.
Which they thought it was the cat,
yeah.
So, oh no.
Oh no. So she's sitting there in this brightly lit bedroom now, with a cat in her lap, terrified, alone otherwise.
They hear some more noises going on.
So she decides she's going to look under the bed.
In my reality, this would not be happening.
Right. Maybe one of the most affecting and the coolest visuals in the movie for me was... She gets grabbed, and then there's just this splat of blood that flies out from under the bed.
I'm just glad they didn't get the kitty.
I know. This movie proves that your cat will eat you. Like, if you die, your cat will eat you.
Truth.
Because later on, it just kind of waltzes up with an eyeball in its mouth. So, presumably, both of the parents are dead now. Next morning...
This kid, man.
Tell me about this kid.
Good lord. I don't even really know what to say about him other than holy shit lazy.
Yeah. Which is important to the story.
It's kind of how you get the idle hands out of idle hands, I suppose.
Just screams up the stairs when he's out of milk and carries an inhaler around his neck that is actually a bong or whatever.
Which is creative, I've got to say.
I mean, I don't know shit about drugs, so...
But if he is...
Is that a bong? I don't know. I don't know.
Yes. I don't know. That's not a thing I would have ever thought about.
It was at least a bowl. I don't know what he was doing with it. I was also knitting, to be completely honest.
But I'm trying to remember, did he actually functionally use the inhaler at any point in the movie, or was it just his...
As an inhaler? I don't know
if we ever actually... No, I think he did, because when
he starts freaking out, when he finds his parents have been murdered, and he starts...
Does he actually go for the inhaler version, or is he just trying to get high?
Well, I'm trying to remember.
This sucks.
Because before he found out his parents had been murdered, when he was just sitting on the couch and trying to smoke, I thought he had actually smoked a little bit before everything was, like, gone.
Totally.
So, did he use the inhaler?
I can't tell you.
And I watched this movie twice this week.
It was less than a day ago for me, at least, but that didn't help me, apparently.
Actually, I watched it 3 times this week, because we watched it again last night.
Yeah, we tried last night, but no notes were taken, so this is... At least for me. I am here
notes.
Winging it. So.
This is not a part of my notes, but...
I think we all are right now.
Yeah.
So we learned that... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so he's on the couch. He still doesn't know his parents are dead.
Right. He's watching TV. The news is on. We're learning about these deaths.
Which, what kid just feels comfortable enough to light up in his house, not knowing that his parents are dead yet? Right in the middle of the living room with the couch where the incense is already sitting.
Okay, that was a question I had, was how many incense sticks do you light at a time?
I mean, you would think 1, but he had, what, 3? Many?
4?
Many?
Yeah.
Multiple.
Is that another drug thing that I just don't get?
I mean, I think it's to cover the smell.
I know that's why they're in head shops.
God.
But... yeah.
Can you imagine the smell? The headache.
I hope they're all different scents, too. That would be...
Oh. It just takes me back to the days of A.A. Michaels with all the incense sticks.
Yep.
This is what would you call this? A new age store in Evansville that when Kristin and I were very young, we enjoyed going into a great deal.
So we thought we were witches or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had incense in my house along with beaded curtains, and
You had beaded curtains.
That was such a 90s thing.
black lights and
Oh, hell
black
yeah.
light posters.
Oh, my entire room was blacklit for a while.
Yeah,
like
you had-
I had no real lights in my room for a
You
stretch
did.
of time.
It was like your ceiling fixture had different colored light bulbs in it.
yeah.
And this was in the year 2002. So
Yeah, well, I was in high school
Just
at this
about,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beaded curtains. I think mine were all like blue dolphins.
They were. I was so jealous
And I
of
did have a
them.
lamp that was the same.
And I was jealous of your lamp. I wanted your stuff.
I wanted your stuff, so there's that. Should have just combined stuff.
Yes.
Just a Voltron of
90s
possessions.
90s girl
Yeah,
things.
totally.
Boy, are we getting off on a tangent. I keep forgetting where we're leaving off with the
That's-
actual story.
That's good. I prefer tangents on this show. So he's sitting on the couch, lighting up so much incense, and presumably he thinks his parents are in the house because he is shouting at his mother, "We're out of milk!
We're out of dog food.
We're out of dog food." They're probably not even out of dog food. It just hasn't been fed yet.
he goes over to purchase weed.
Yeah, which is
Pick up some
quite
more.
the trek, apparently, across the street.
Uh-huh. He doesn't put on pants. He's in his shorts
And a robe.
and pink slippers.
It is a look. It
Yeah.
is.
Capital L.
Yes.
And his friends are Seth Green, who is highly underrated, in my opinion.
He is one of the best parts of this
He
movie,
is,
most
For
likely.
sure. Yeah, you say he's underrated. I definitely thought when watching this, like, I enjoy him a lot more than I think I realized.
I think it was maybe in the last third or quarter I started thinking about it like, shit, I would really like to see him as a leading man in like something.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell movie could I put him in?
He really flies under the radar for how good
He
he is
does.
and everything.
I don't know. I just don't know that I see him in very much anymore. Like,
No.
I mean, once again, I am replaying Mass Effect, and he is in that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about Mass Effect.
Girl, do you like Star Trek?
That's debatable.
Oh my god!
Oh no.
How are we related?
I wouldn't say I don't like it. I just have not, like,
Star Wars.
watched it.
That's
Oh no.
Okay, Seth Green is there. There's
Yes.
some other guy. I didn't recognize him, but I thought he was very cute.
Whose name I still am not sure how to pronounce. Penub?
Yes.
What does that
No.
mean, and where did it come from?
I didn't even think about it until the second time I watched it, and I like heard it once, and I had to look him up on IMDb because I was not sure if I
Yeah.
heard correctly.
I had the subtitles on, and I was like, what the
Am I even saying it right? Is it Penub?
Yes.
Okay.
He does say it later in the movie. It is pronounced Panub.
Why did his parents
No
hate him
apostrophe.
so much?
It's got to be a nickname.
Oh, we doing some research?
Live fact-checking.
Live fact checking. Which, just not to sell him short, he was from the Butterfly Effect as well as the Daredevil Netflix TV show.
I was telling Will last night because he had mentioned that I
I thought he was really good.
had talked about how I had never seen him in anything before, and I cannot remember if I have seen the Butterfly Effect or not because I kind of know what the story is about, but I don't think I've watched it.
You're fine.
I
You don't need to see
You're not
it.
missing anything.
mean, I'm glad. But yeah, he was fun.
Yeah, those two guys were...
I would say they made it. I mean, Devin Sawa is wonderful. I would say they added quite a bit to,
Yeah, I think it was maybe halfway through when you're just watching them putz around.
and I'm enjoying that more than the story.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I would like whatever movie of just them. I guess it would be more of a sitcom.
They tell him that they are out.
Mhm. And he's all pissy about it because he walked all the way across the street to get there.
And I believe that's where they bring up the oregano and nutmeg.
Yes.
Will really mess you
yes.
up.
Which
Oh,
I have
God.
heard about nutmeg, and I thought it was just oregano looked like weed.
Oh,
so
I
don't
thought that
know.
was just a joke. Is
no,
that like a
nutmeg
thing?
is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was just a dumb joke.
I mean, I think it has some kind of effect, like kind of like aerosol cans almost, or something. Like can cause heart palpitations or something like that.
Oh, God.
Fun. I mean,
But
I get that through anxiety.
Ugh.
yeah, it's not so much a marijuana-like effect or
No, not
like
at all.
tripping, but I think it does have some effect on you.
Yeah, it's definitely like dumb shit that kids do. But like, apparently a thing now is they're like getting drunk off of vanilla extract because it's 35% alcohol.
Oh my God.
So they're just like getting fucked up on vanilla extract at school.
gross.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, welcome to the big leagues, kids.
That's the
what
new thing. Yeah.
that's what alcoholics have been doing for years.
Oh God.
Just rubbing alcohol. And
Dude, vanilla extract is expensive though.
Actually-
like,
the real shit is, yeah.
And also to go on the rubbing alcohol, they put some kind of agent in there that will make you sick because otherwise people would drink it.
I mean, it's $1.
Wow.
So they tell him they're out of weed, and what happens? There's girl across the street that Anton, the kid, has a crush on.
Molly.
Jessica Alba.
A very good-looking Jessica Alba.
She is so cute.
She's, yes.
Her skin is ridiculous, and I hate her.
I'm pretty jealous of that, yeah.
The hair, questionable, but
Yeah.
I personally liked it, but...
There was, I feel like her haircut was like, it was just a little too long in the back to be.
I don't think I was paying that much attention.
I noticed that like the third time I watched it this week.
Oh, right. You did see it more than I did.
When I was starting to look at like the weird details.
Yes, the semi-1950s bob.
But not quite short enough.
I literally can't even...
It started to bother me.
I think in my head I keep picturing Mandy Moore, which is not Jessica Alba.
No. She looks way out of Devon Sawa's league.
She's very dumb.
Yes.
Which, you basically have to have dumb characters in a horror movie.
True. Actually, yeah, that's pretty solid across the board, wouldn't you say?
I would even go as far as to say that she doesn't even really have any character in this movie
No,
other
she
than
doesn't.
to be...
She's an object.
Slightly
Yes.
sex crazed.
She is there
Yeah.
for Devon Sawa.
Yeah.
She does have a moment toward the end, but other than that, yeah, she's a plot device. So she drops this book. It's apparently a lyric book.
And he says like something about, I'm going to go give it back to her.
It kind of seems like he had seen the book before.
I think he had mentioned like he had read some of her lyrics over her shoulder in one of his classes.
classes.
Yeah.
She's apparently a great songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all teenagers are great poets.
Every last one of them.
So he does go to return it. His friend offers to lend him pants. I don't think he takes him up on that, though.
I don't think so either.
If I remember correctly, he just pushes it into her and then runs away.
Runs away,
Yeah.
yes. I feel like she's trying to engage a conversation, but he's just super gone because
He is what I would have been as a teenager.
he knows that he's lame, I guess. When does the biker guy first show up?
Oh, Randy. It is stated early on he is the neighbor, and he is passed when Anton goes to his friend's house across the street. He passes by Randy, who we see as drinking under the truck.
Lassie.
How old is he supposed to be?
I believe he's supposed to be 21
Okay.
or so. He says later on that he's a couple years removed from high school.
Right.
So, yeah.
Speaking of which, all of these characters are in high school, although they look
Except Randy.
Quote, unquote.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, when we see Randy, is this the first time we hear Shout at the Devil? Because
Probably.
get ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producers for this movie paid for that song, and by God, they're going to use it.
Yeah. It's like there's only two
Oh,
songs
yeah.
in Top Gun. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the music. I didn't recognize a whole lot of it.
I recognize a lot of it later when you start to see the offspring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know the song you were talking. I mean, I recognize the song. I did not know what it was called.
Oh, I love the soundtrack for this movie, too. It is a 90s soundtrack.
Yeah. Santeria was in there.
Of course
Yeah.
it was.
Fuck off.
The movie even opens with a Rancid song.
Did you have the soundtrack?
I did not. No.
Kind of want to now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
though.
I know.
And for the kids at home, I suppose we should mention that soundtracks were motion pictures would release CDs even.
CDs even, yes.
Tapes.
You could purchase the soundtrack to a motion picture in one collected album.
And I can say I probably owned a few of those. You know, soundtracks are not a thing I've really thought about. Like, that did kind of go to the wayside for the last 5 to 10 years, didn't it?
I don't watch enough movies to even say, but
I guess I don't really either, but it's not a thing I've seen. It's one of those, I guess, it was a thing really popular in the 90s.
yeah. Do soundtrack albums chart the same way as like a regular artist's album? I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, they still do.
Do they?
Really? Okay.
So this is unrelated, and you'll probably want to cut this out, but just kind of going off the soundtrack, do you remember the Now compilations?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we were at, Walmart 6 months ago, maybe?
What are they
and
on,
we
like 86?
We saw a vinyl, which was like a 20-year edition or something. I have a picture of it. I
No
need to show
shit.
you. And I, lost my shit because I was like, oh my God, I'm that old.
I'm living La Vida Loca.
And now I have to find the picture because I took a picture. I thought it was so funny.
That's amazing.
And now I just have to show you. I know that's not related to Idle Hands in
No,
any way,
it's
shape,
related
or
to
form.
99. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And it's like on 2 LPs on red and blue vinyl. Now that's what I call music.
Fuck
20th
yes.
anniversary.
Fuck yes. Holy shit. What's on it?
I should have taken a picture
I
of
have
that.
a record player now. I'm buying this shit. How much was this?
I don't know.
Only at Walmart. Fuck yeah. Who's going to Walmart today? That's me.
Well, you'll have to let me know if you find it.
Shit.
Snap a picture of the back for me, because I did not
crazy.
think to. Does that not make you feel ancient, though? I remember when Now came out.
I remember when they were like, now that's what I call music 17. Jeez, how many are there going to be?
Apparently, it just going.
They keep coming out with them.
Going and going. Who is buying these?
Probably no one anymore because people just get the singles they want on iTunes. I don't know how much of a market there is anymore for those.
Yeah.
Unless you're like us and nostalgic and old.
I mean, yeah, we're
Yay!
We're only 30, but we're already at that stage.
And I had to look this up. Going back to Now That's What I Call Music is now up to edition 68, which was released in October 26th of 2018.
Wow.
Christ.
68. Was the first one really in 99?
I don't know.
Am I older than that?
October 27th, 1998.
Close. We were...
I hate this.
I remember when that came out, because I feel like the first few editions of it I wanted, and then it kept going, and I didn't...
And I lost track.
Yeah, and then I just stopped caring.
I never actually listened to the radio.
Like that. I did.
You did?
There was a span of time when I was a child where, you know how they probably don't even do this anymore, but you would have like the top 100 every Saturday morning on the radio. I would sit there and listen to the whole like 2 hours.
Yeah, I guess there was a time
I was that kid
where I followed like CMT, like I'd listen to the country top 20 every week, but that wasn't really radio. That was more for like music videos, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I would listen to the radio every Saturday for like 2 hours just to listen to this countdown so I could hear like a few of the songs that I was really excited to listen to.
Oh, I did find Now That's What I Call Music 68.
Will we even know any of these songs? Are we too old to know any of them?
Actually, it should just be
half
called...
of it's Drake.
Now That's What I Call EDM, because it's Post Malone, Marshmello, DJ Khaled, Calvin Harris, Tiesto,
the
I could get down for that. Kygo, Imagine Dragons.
Jesus.
Oh my god, I do know some of these.
Oh my god, have I like...
Am I cool again? Have we come full circle? Oh shit. This is bad. I think this is not a good sign.
Probably not. Can we relate to the youth of today?
Look,
That's
I'm
scary.
on Tumblr a lot. I know how the 13-year-olds are thinking.
That's probably horrifying.
Dude, they're all smarter than I was at like 20. So like whatever. They're all more compassionate.
But the real question is, can you floss?
And more gender fluid. So we're like 6 minutes into this movie.
Yeah. Whoops. Sidetrack. It's a warm-up. It's fine.
So we return the book.
Yes.
He goes back home. This is all so fuzzy to me at the beginning.
Same here. I feel like this is the period of time where you're just seeing like a montage of his lazy ass watching some weird shit on TV and
Mr. Magoo.
Oh. I didn't know that.
These are the key details I remember.
Okay, yeah.
We'll be the detail man.
When you see the news report announcing that 5 people have been murdered in his town, he switches to cartoons, as one does.
I mean, of course.
Like you do. At
some point, he goes to make a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Which might be the first of all of the gross.
Yes.
He's
watching porn.
Yeah, that's more what I was leading up to, the weird stuff he was watching on TV. And he can still see the TV from his kitchen, and he's sitting there watching it, slapping the most mayo I've ever seen someone put on a sandwich.
On just a bologna sandwich.
On just a bologna sandwich.
Like one slice of bologna.
With gobs of mayo.
It's a
mayo
mayo
And that's before. It was gross before. But this giant knife he is using...
He's using a bread knife?
He's using a bread knife to slap this mayo onto the sandwich. And he doesn't notice that this bread knife is coated in blood.
Strawberry jelly.
Well, yes. It does look like strawberry jelly. And so he goes to take a bite of the sandwich, and as he's like starting to chew, he looks down at this knife in the tub of mayo, and notices it's coated in blood and freaks out.
Yep.
Runs over to the sink, washes his mouth out with Ajax, or some sort of dish soap.
Whoa, I missed that.
Yeah, and I have a fun note about this, because when I was looking at IMDb, he made that up on the spot, and that was real soap.
Oh, shit.
In his mouth.
Hope they had a chum bucket nearby, because...
Yeah.
That's cool. I love shit like that.
Anyway, so he's washing his mouth out, and the beginning's real fuzzy.
I know. We're just staring at each other. Does he finally find a parent.
Oh, that's when he sees the cat with the eyeball. He notices the cat is like playing with the eyeball and licking it.
And he's like,
as
oh
you
shit,
said,
the killer's in my house.
He sees the cat with the eyeball.
Yeah.
And he freaks out and runs through the house and knocks over the scarecrows that are in the house for some reason.
Might I say, those are like...
They look like American Gothic.
They're a very cool Halloween decoration.
So the scarecrows knock over, and we see that the parents are inside under the pumpkins.
So they've been hiding there for days, right?
Gross, rotting.
Because he does say at one point, I haven't seen my parents in a couple days. Like, did you not smell anything?
Or like, who doesn't freak
Maybe you
out when
can't
they
smell
notice
if you
they haven't
smoke
seen
that
their
much.
parents in a couple of days? Like, were that me as a teenager, I would be like,
You know, by the end, he's making out with Jessica Alba, and I was like, what? Your parents are dead. You have bigger problems, my dude. So does he call his friends for, like, moral support?
This is at the point where Mick and Penub now come over.
He runs into them, like, on the way out of the house.
I strictly remember this only because at this point, 2 Live Crew is on the TV with the quintessential hit, Pop That Coochie.
Right.
Which, that's 90s.
Yes.
If anything. I couldn't get that song out of my head for, like, a solid day after the first time I watched it again.
We see Mick gyrating like a white guy does.
Yes.
As we see from the camera angle of the dead parents.
Yes.
Yep. So he finally convinces his friends that his parents are dead.
Yeah.
They have completely missed the dead bodies on the floor. And they start freaking out.
Seth Green finds a clue.
Oh, right. That's
a
right.
piece of the
Clue.
shirt in the mother's hand.
This perfectly rounded clue.
That happens to match the hem of the shirt Devon Sawa was wearing.
And has been wearing for days
And
now,
Seth Green
probably.
says, the killer was wearing your shirt.
And that's when he
is
sees,
very cute.
like, the stuff on his hand. The glow-in-the-dark paint.
Yes, he says, the killer's wearing me.
And then, I'm the killer.
And there's like some kind of fast food bag that has old fries and ears in it.
Yeah.
And they decide that they must belong to the twins that got murdered
Right.
because they have earrings or something.
Yeah, they're both left ears with earrings.
Right.
But then his friends start freaking out.
Yeah, they're like trying not to piss him off.
Seth Green's like, I'm gonna call the police.
Mm-hmm.
But still
gonna
trying
be
to
fine.
trying to keep Anton cool.
Uh-huh.
And this is where we start to see the fabulous hand acting.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
Yeah. He actually brought this up to me last night because I wasn't really thinking about it. Like, I knew it was very well done, but I wasn't thinking about how impressive it was until I started watching for it.
Mm-hmm. There was a little featurette on the DVD that talked a lot about the hand actor.
Really?
Who had also done
a thing from Addams Family.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, did you know who the voice of the hand is?
Because it actually had a voice. I don't know how.
Did not catch this.
It is credited to Robert Englund of Nightmare on Elm Street fame.
Okay.
Which, this kind of leads me to a point. There's a lot of, like, old horror throwbacks in this movie.
Okay.
More than you would think.
All right. Tell me about that because I am not a horror person.
Well, gosh. So some of it, like, you have these actors that are just part of, like, other things. Like the guy who played the Thing in Addams Family and Robert Englund. But you also will notice on the TV throughout, at one point, you'll see Devon Sawa has Night of the Living Dead on TV. And then more important to you and me, specifically, there's a point where they're watching Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
And that warmed my heart a little bit.
So listeners will not know this, but we have a family member who was in the original Dawn of the Dead.
Like the main actor.
Yeah.
So
Was it our granddad's cousin?
He was at a family reunion, like the one family reunion we've ever had. I remember he was there.
It's so crazy.
I throw that detail out to people every once in a while because it's just
My
kind
name
of
is on a
fun-
movie poster.
Yeah.
So what else from the horror genre are you seeing in it?
Oh gosh, what else did we see? You mentioned another movie that I didn't know about. Think about that for a second. But then we also noticed like Rob Zombie's music video, Dragula. Isn't that what it's called?
Yes, Dragula.
Which I could not believe that came out in 99 and also made me feel ancient. Because I can remember that still being like a poppin' song when I was in high school.
God.
I know. I'm trying to be hip.
Hot.
So how is that a song that came out when I was 10? But yeah, there's just like little things throughout.
Right. So we're now aware that his hand is possessed. Mm-hmm. He has control of his own head. Mm-hmm. So like he's trying to fight against this thing and still the hand just kind of grabs a bottle, smashes it, and it ends up in Seth Green's forehead.
Boy, that prosthetic that they
It
used
was amazing.
is...
So now he's got one dead friend.
Yeah.
The other one is understandably freaking out, runs downstairs.
Which is the dumbest
Somehow.
place to go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because even Devon Sawa is even yelling at him, like, you can't get out that way. Trying to, like, warn his
You're
friend.
not going to be safe down
Yeah,
there.
please don't do this.
So they have a little spat. There's like some physical confrontation.
His friend picks up, like, a garden spade, thinking that will help protect him.
And decides he's going to make a break for it, run back up the stairs.
And very quickly, Anton puts an end to that.
The hand grabs a circular saw,
Yeah, circular saw blade.
flings it like a discus,
Yes.
and
Right through the head. Or
right
through
through
the
the neck.
Yeah.
And it's really neat because you see the friend from the front, and you know that blade had to go somewhere, but then you start to see blood trickle out the front of his neck, and you're like, oh shit, his head is gone.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
Which one of the few CGI shots, but doesn't look terrible compared to some movies of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the shots in the movie were practical compared to CGI.
Right.
Also, Devon Sawa going down those stairs to that basement with
It was
that
pretty
hand.
impressive. That was pretty
Yeah.
fun. He may not be the best actor in the world, but he has remarkable control of his body.
Fine hand actor.
Yeah.
Now I'm spilling Dr. Pepper all over myself.
You are me.
Whoops. All right. We've got 2 dead friends. At what point does he start burying all the bodies?
Not until he goes and molests Jessica Alba.
Molester.
Right, that does happen.
That happens first. Covered in blood.
Well, wait, he's
dirty.
sitting on the couch watching TV, and Bones comes up, right?
Okay.
And I can't remember what leads to this, but he tosses Bones out the window,
Oh,
basically.
yes. He has the fight with his hand over what to watch on TV.
Right.
Right.
Because it's going between, like, cartoons and horror back and forth, right?
Well, the hand horror movies.
Yeah. Poor Bones just gets whipped right out that window.
Yeah, the cat comes up and I guess is trying to get pets. And he's like, no, don't.
Go away, Bones.
And he grabs it by the tail, gives it a good swing out the window.
Poor kitty. Who lands in, like, Jessica Alba's bushes.
What does he
Yes.
think he's going to do? Like, if he didn't want this cat to come near him, now he's going to go get this cat by picking it up?
knows?
I don't know what he's...
I don't know.
I think the cat is, like, the least of his problems right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Plot device
Yeah.
got us into her front yard,
Gotta get him there somehow.
I guess. She's an idiot.
And comes out wearing, even yet again, less clothing,
Yeah.
Of course.
which will be a running theme.
Yes.
Yeah, it just gets
Yeah.
less and less and less.
Yeah.
She essentially just pulls him into her house.
Yeah, she's into it from the beginning.
Yeah.
She wants that Devon
Yeah.
Sawa real bad.
She doesn't even acknowledge the coated in blood or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's 2 days to Halloween or whatever, so.
Yeah.
But yes, she invites him in.
Invites. She pulls his ass right in. Against his will, kind of. He's like trying to...
Yeah, because he knows that his
He
hand
even
is haunted.
tries to like hold onto the outside of the house.
Yeah, his hand issues going on.
Yeah.
So, what is her, like, why does she pull him in? Like, what is she saying? Like, why does she think he is here? What does she think is happening?
It kind of just seems like she doesn't really care why he's there. She just
I guess not.
wants him to be there.
We're led to believe, yes, Jessica Alba is into this.
Because, I mean, you had kind of joked, like, we're at the point where he molests Jessica Alba, but it's kind of the other way around, I feel like, honestly. Like, I feel like she's leading the show, and his hand just has mind
The
of its
hand
own.
grabs her ass, and she's into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she throws him down.
Yeah. So
Like,
I feel like it's
we're
more
doing this.
her molesting him.
Yeah, I guess so.
So he is definitely afraid he's going to hurt her. He ties his hand to the bed.
Yeah, they
which,
start making out, and the hand, like, tries to reach around her neck and, like, starts to choke her. And he's like, we cannot have this, but I am so horny.
Yeah.
So he ties the hand to the bed, and she's like, this is kinky. So, like,
still all about
that's
it.
where we are right now.
Yeah.
Which, yes, she just shakes off being strangled.
Maybe she's into it.
Like, I mean,
Just like no
that's
big
a
deal.
thing. Yeah. Like,
I mean, normally I would think you'd have some kind of, I don't know, negotiation about rules and safe words, etc.
or just have known each other a little bit better for a little longer in that
Sure.
regard.
Maybe.
You know?
So he's presumably getting some.
Yes, we flash forward.
Mm-hmm.
It just fades to black, and we are to presume that sex was had.
Something was had.
Yeah.
Because she remarks afterwards about her parents coming home and catching her banging the dirty, bloody neighbor boy.
Oh,
So
I missed
she-
this line.
I remember that now. So she does acknowledge the bloody, but still doesn't question it.
But he's so pretty.
I mean,
Does she ask him to then go to the dance with her?
I think so. They kind of figure out when to hang out next, and she mentions like
There's a Halloween dance coming up.
yeah, and that they're gonna go to that and what time to meet up and stuff. And then he goes home, right?
Goes home to bury Mick and Penub.
And his parents probably.
I think his parents were down there.
That's right. He does talk to his parents.
Yeah. Goes on to talk about how I guess I wasn't that great of a son, but
Oh yeah, he does like this crazy eulogy for these 4 people.
yeah, I don't know what my eulogy would be like if I had killed my parents
He
and
was
my
just
best
like,
friends, but
You guys were, it was like so great getting high and stuff with you. Like they haven't bonded over anything substantive because
yeah.
they're lazy ass teenagers. He knows he's supposed to say something, I guess.
And then we hear Seth Green.
Saying something about how he's down there and like can't breathe.
And to dig him up.
Yeah.
Devon Sawa was arguing with him like, you're dead.
I'm sure he's like in his head like this is just not happening.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. Did we hear from Penub?
No, he gets down closer to the ground and Seth Green pops out to grab him. And
Still got the bottle in his head.
yeah, and that's when we see Seth Green with the bottle in his head.
Yeah.
And at this point, Penub is risen from the grave.
Headless.
That's right.
Where's the head? How does that come back into play?
Just sitting on the ground. Anton almost steps on him.
That's when he goes to bed, I think.
No.
Am I just like making this up?
No, it's Penub's headless body grabs
Yeah.
the shovel and hits him. And
Gotcha.
That's right.
He was
I've
unconscious,
watched
you were
this.
right.
I was halfway there. I swear I've watched this movie like multiple times this week.
But then, yes, then it opens to him waking up and thinking it was all just a dream.
That's why I'm thinking he was just going to bed. Yeah.
He's wearing the same bloody t-shirt.
He goes through that whole headphone thing for a second time, but he makes his way downstairs.
And sees his friends on the couch, so he thinks everything's fine.
Doesn't quite see them fully yet, just sees them from like behind. Comes around and sees Penub's the head on the couch, and his body is like banging around in the kitchen because it can't see anything.
Yeah.
Throw in cereal, just like
I
out
have
of the box.
so many questions about how they're eating snacks.
I mean, it gets pretty gross at one part.
Yeah, that is addressed, I guess, but
Yeah.
as far as further down the track, I don't know.
We're
But yeah,
just-
they're super dead, but they're also very well adjusted.
Yeah, they're very chill friends,
Yeah.
clearly.
They're like basically the same, it's just that they know they're dead now. Undead, excuse me.
Undead.
They do clarify.
There's like a little bit of conversation back and forth between all of them, and Seth Green makes some comment about how, like, I was a little mad that I got killed by my best friend, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
okay.
fine. I got over it. And this is actually the point where they're watching Dawn of the Dead, by the way,
Okay.
when he comes down and finds them.
Yeah, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to what was actually on the TV other than like, here's a music video.
Yeah.
This is clearly porn. This is animated. That's all I got. Knitting.
He does end up going pretty soon after this to go talk to Randy because he's trying to figure out if anybody knows anything about the devil.
And Randy seems like
The one person that would know
That
about
kinda
the
guy.
devil. So,
it has something to do with the music he listens to.
and this is where we get kind of the first, I think, idle hands, like biblical reference, because
Yeah.
Randy is kind of basically telling him to keep his hand busy. Like, I used to get myself into trouble all the time. Like, you just gotta, that's why I'm always working on the Ford.
Uh-huh.
And so that's his, like, advice.
He's like completely unfazed. He's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, I guess keep your hands busy.
Yeah.
When do we first see Vivica Fox? Because she's like some kind of vampire slayer traveling in a van with a murder board.
I'm not sure when she first pops up. I have a note about when she and Randy meet, but we see her before that.
Yeah, it's just interspersed in there.
Yeah, it's not really, like, explained who she is for a little while. She's just, like, woman in a van
Magical
on a mission.
Negro, I guess.
Yeah.
It's one of those tropes.
I mean,
You're a supernatural person, serves the white man. She's some kind of druid priestess or princess or I don't know. She's got a
Yeah.
knife.
yes.
She's looking for this demon specifically, and
Who will possess the laziest
yes,
person it can find.
Just before we overlap the Burger Jungle point, I wanted to point out the cameo of Tom DeLonge
I
of
wondered why I
Blink-182
recognized that dude.
Yeah.
in the drive-thru.
Yes.
And I rewound it because I wanted to turn on the subtitles at that point because I was like, did he really just say that? He uses the F slur.
Oh yeah,
That's a 90s thing.
Well, I think I had kind of... God, there were a lot of things that I feel like we said in the 90s that are very... God, I don't even know how to say this either. I think I'm having the same thought you are. Like, those weren't even necessarily said at the time to be like a slur. You know what I mean?
I think they probably, I mean, not for us in our age group.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have known or said that word, but I'm sure it was out there.
Well, I mean, I think I mentioned this to Will at one point last week. Like, I can remember, because my brother is 10 years older than me. And I can remember him, like, jokingly saying things like retard and fag and things like that. Yeah. And, like, he would never mean it, like, he would never say it to, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. He would say that to me, just to be an asshole older brother.
It wasn't, like, to insult a person. It was just, like...
It was just a word.
Yeah. It was a swear word.
Which is a big difference. Like, that's a... Like, between those 10 years, you can... Whereas, like, we would never say those things. Right. Ever.
Yeah.
It's a generational
I see the distinction
difference
between name-calling and having it just be a swear word.
Yeah, I think that's more what I'm trying to get at, like...
But it's still, like, pointing to that group as...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Whereas I think that's a difference between, like, that 10-year span where, like, we started to see that was...
And there was
wrong.
Another, so there's the F slur there, and later on there's a Q slur, which is like, as a slur, it's still a bad thing, but people have actually now reclaimed the word queer, so that people will still use it as a slur, but they don't know that that's how a lot of people
it's fine now.
Think of themselves now. Like, that's put the letter in the alphabet soup of LGBTQ now.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's for.
And that's an area where a movie like this really shows its age, where you'll just be watching the movie go along and then you just hear the F-bomb out of nowhere and like, clunk.
Wait, we can't do that.
Yeah, it sounds
totally.
rough.
Hi 1999.
Yeah, where at the time it was probably just not even
thought
about.
Probably not. I mean, nobody else said it. He was, I think, supposed to be trashy guy. None of the others really went there.
Yeah.
Which it does kind of fly by too, like
I had to rewind.
Other older movies were way more egregious, like Bill and Ted or Monster Party, or Monster Squad. I'm sorry. So it's almost blink and you'll miss it, but it's still when you catch it, it's like, oh yeah, this was a different time.
It kind of hurts a little bit.
This was before Queer as Folk,
right?
Where they tried to take that word back, but I don't know that it really happened. Only Brian Kinney. So, we've decided that idle hands are the devil's playground, so he's just got to keep his hands busy.
Right.
Goes home, right? Hangs out with his friends, he's knitting.
Yes, with the largest knitting needles.
Granted,
I don't knit,
it's a decent gauge for the yarn weight, I'm just saying. It almost looked like he maybe knew what he was doing a little bit, because it looked like the right motions almost.
I wonder if he did know how to knit. That'd be fun.
They probably maybe at least taught him, here's how you do a stitch.
You can learn the basic real quick.
We'll get it started for you, and you just do this.
Yeah.
And this is where he's knitting furiously to Rob Zombie's Dragula.
Right.
His mom was knitting at the beginning of the movie, too. That's why there's knitting around.
His mom was very cute, by the way.
Yeah, that was a very 90s hairstyle, 90s mom. Do we ever see him interact with his parents? I had that thought coming over here of like...
I don't think
we see his parents.
No. Fred Willard definitely got paid to shoot his scenes, and he was out after that check.
Yeah, because they're dead by the time he comes into the picture, even.
Before he gets his ass out of bed.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he doesn't care by the end of the movie, because...
I really hadn't thought about that. You're right. Like, they probably just got them in and out.
Yeah, it was probably a weekend shoot, an easy paycheck, and we're out of here. Well, I guess he interacts with the dead bodies, doesn't he?
Yeah, but that's not really them. That's
could have been
probably
stunt
just...
actors,
yeah.
Well, and you notice they don't really show their faces all that close.
Not very well, yeah. So he's knitting.
Mm-hmm.
There's this pair of cops that we are introduced to earlier in the movie. Mm-hmm. They're like a couple years ahead of him in age, and
have some like dumb grudge. Like they were not liked by Anton's people, and so they're like bitter about that. Like they wanted to be part of the cool friend group, and they were not.
Was it that they were the nerds and never got included, and so now they're the badass cops?
Yeah, the bitterness is real.
I think it's a noise complaint. Is that what it is? That's why the cops come over?
Yes. They look in the window, and this is where they see the decapitated body of Penub sitting there, and Anton knitting furiously in between the two.
And so they come up with some kind of plot of like, well, we're gonna get this guy in handcuffs, and we'll be the saviors, we'll be the heroes. So there's an argument about we have to have a search warrant.
The guys just like screw the rules, basically. Yeah, like we're going in.
So they go in.
Bad move.
Yeah.
Real bad move.
That's written somewhere at some point.
What, bad move?
Bad move, Anton.
I think it is, yeah. So they come in. Gosh, and how does this go down? The cops start to realize that his dead friends are undead.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of freak out.
And he freaks out and shoots one in the head.
Yeah, he shoots Penub's decapitated head. And his friends are now egging Anton on, like, okay, well, you need to just kill them. Which, what?
And Anton's just begging them to cuff him up because he knows it will be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fight back and forth between him and the cops. Anton's yelling, cuff me. Cuff me, cuff me.
And what is their argument against that? Why?
They're yelling at him to put the knitting needles down.
Oh, right, that's why.
Yeah.
And he's trying to keep his hand busy.
Yeah, he's trying to not do the bad thing.
Yeah, so that knitting needle obviously ends up skewering somebody.
Yeah, it winds up straight,
Right through the head.
Yeah, like right through the ears,
Woof.
even. Like,
And I personally, my favorite kill of the movie. That is one thing about this movie, like, it is a comedy stoner movie, but they do not spare on the gore or kills.
yeah, and they're like cringy. Like, even you can tell that they're very fake because it's you know, a horror comedy, but they're still. It just makes you like, oh. The sound effects were great.
Well, yeah, I thought all the effects on the kills and everything in this movie were really well done.
Yeah,
Again, for being a stoner comedy,
they were good.
Yeah, the effects were fun.
I think it actually had a pretty decent budget.
Certainly could have been worse.
Yeah,
I don't know what the budget was.
I'm curious.
I just always
now.
assume that comedies have a lower budget than anything
I
else.
feel like this one, it was like shockingly high to me for what it was. I remember kind of thinking that, like, how did this movie get this budget? How did they swing this?
I believe it was in the 20 million range.
You should fact check. For a movie like this, although I guess they had to pay Jessica Alba, and
How big was she at that point?
I think that was kind of the heyday of Jessica Alba, wasn't it?
No, this is one of her first roles.
Okay.
She had been in things before this, but this was one of the bigger.
And at what point was this for Devon Sawa? Because he was kind of a big deal in the 90s. Like, he was in a lot of things, but I don't know if this was before that or after.
I never saw a lot of movies for that demographic at that time, so I don't know that I've ever seen him in anything.
This might have been one of his first, like, big ones, because he was in my favorite movie of all time, and it was right before Idle Hands, and I'm kind of sad that it wasn't in 99, because I would love to cover it.
I've been thinking real hard about doing 98 because there's some gems in there.
Do it, because my favorite movie is in 98, and I would just die.
What is it?
SLC Punk.
Oh.
And Devon Sawa plays kind of a small role in that.
Okay.
And that was where my love for him began.
Is he Canadian?
Yes.
Okay. I was about to say, because I feel like I've only ever heard Devon Sawa, which is like, that's how, when you listen to Canadian podcasts, you pick up weird, like I have to say cilantro now.
Oh, God.
Pasta. I don't say pasta, but I do say cilantro. Anyway,
What
Devon
you got?
Sawa.
Yes, it was an estimated budget of 25 million.
Which, for that kind of movie, is, like, surprisingly high, I would think.
Trying to think of a comparable tone from about the same year.
And I mean, I know they're trying to pay, like, because I don't know how big these actors were and what they were getting paid at that time, but you have Jessica Alba,
Seth Green had already been in
Seth Green,
a TV show.
Yeah.
It was a small role, but he had already been on TV.
He was known. He was, those three were all kind of big in this part of the 90s, I feel like.
Which, fun fact of Devon Sawa, he was also in Little Giants
Really?
Huh.
and also Casper.
Okay.
The
I
motion
had seen
picture.
he was in
All right.
Casper. Because that was,
So I just don't remember this fool. That's what it is.
well, I didn't remember. He was in Final Destination, too, and that's a movie that I remember and hurts me every time I watch because it just ruins my brain for a while.
Okay.
Just because now anytime, like, after you watch any of those movies, anytime you leave the house, it just, everything is going to kill you. It takes a lot for me to watch those.
Where are we?
The other cop getting a taser in the face.
That's what it is.
Which that was
Fries his face off.
funsies.
Yeah.
Takes out both cops.
So those guys are dead.
Problem solved.
Now what?
Which, just to mention that cop also from People Under the Stairs fame.
Oh, yeah.
Or one of the McPoyles from It's Always Sunny.
So yeah, see, like, people are just from horror or horror references. It just keeps popping up. Like, these people are all little cameos.
Y'all know more about it than I do.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me.
What? After this happens, after the cops, he starts trying to deal with his hand. He's like, this has to come off. This is the only way. The hand's got to come off. And so he runs to the kitchen, grabs one of those old school like bagel slicers and sticks his hand in like he thinks it's going to cut his hand off. Does not work.
Does not work.
Obviously.
That thing won't even cut my bagel.
That thing won't even cut my bagel. And so he yells at Seth Green to grab the electric knife. What are those called? The electric
Carver?
And here's another one of the references. Seth Green's playing with it and he's like, look at me, I'm Leatherface. Leatherface. But the cord won't reach.
It pops right out of the wall.
Yeah, and so
Great,
he's like,
thanks.
that's okay. And he sticks his hand, or no, he grabs the cleaver and he starts like trying to cut it off. And his hand just like moves.
Yep.
More fabulous acting.
Yes, so good, so good. And so finally he's just like, he sticks his hands in Penob's mouth and is like, hold down.
You hold this.
And he chops his hand right off.
And that weird, ghastly, unearthly scream. That was odd.
Screams like a girl.
Which they reference, but yeah, it was a weird sound. It still doesn't even sound real.
To be fair, if you cut off your own hand, I mean...
You can probably scream however you like.
You don't know how you're going to scream until it happens, I feel like.
Well, and it just seemed weird. I don't know if it was like ADR'd in there or what. It just seemed very out of place almost.
I didn't notice it.
I mean, they probably did have to go back and redo that part, I would think. I mean, it'd be hard to get a decent scream in correctly.
With an acting take.
And then immediately
movie's over, right? Problem solved.
Oh no. It carries on. So his hand is there gushing blood and Seth Green grabs an iron, and I thought this was so bizarre. He just grabs an iron, which I assume had not been turned on. It's unplugged.
Okay.
And he's bringing this in and he just like steams
Trying
his
to
hand
cauterize the...
with an iron that can't possibly be hot. I mean, unless it had been on for days while his mother was dead, I cannot fathom
he's sure
that it
as
is
fuck
hot.
not ironing anything.
Oh no, none of them.
Is this where the duct tape happens?
They leave to go get a first aid kit.
Yeah, so that his fucking cut off hand doesn't get infected.
Won't kill him.
Because, you know, you don't go to a doctor, you just first aid shit.
Is this the same night that he's supposed to meet up with What's-Her-Face for the dance?
Yes.
Is that why he ends up back at her house?
Actually, she ends up at his house.
Yeah, she comes over to meet him.
Because he's taking forever.
Right.
In the now skimpier angel costume.
Bitter that he made her wait. She's mad. She tries to like force her way into his house, and that's the reason he ends up just leaving.
Yeah, he's yelling at her to stay away, and this is where we see
the hand
crawling on the ceiling or hanging on to the ceiling.
Still moving around. He's trying to deal with this hand while she's outside trying to get in. Like, what do I do? And when he eventually gets a hold of it.
This is so good.
And throws it in the microwave.
So good. I love it.
And turns it on.
And this was very gross. Like, it was great to watch, but at the same time, it's just, the effect was so well done.
Yes. Ugh. I mean, even just conceptually, I was like, oh, fuck yes. This is the greatest.
And it's turning black and just bubbling and...
Yeah.
So many things in this movie that, like, again, so obviously, like, very fake, but still make you go, ugh. So he leaves the hand in the microwave, and since she's trying to force her way in, he just goes out and leaves.
She thinks he's got a costume. She's like, what are you supposed to be?
And he says, I'm a fast food worker that cut off his own hand.
She's like, oh,
okay.
Great, let's go.
Because is he still wearing part of the outfit from the fast food place he went to?
The Burger Shack outfit?
Burger Shack.
Yeah.
So it kind of works.
So do they don't go directly there. He doesn't go directly there.
The lines are kind of blurred to me here. Like, I don't really...
He sends her along.
Yeah.
Because he wants to go do something?
Yeah, I don't really know how this... Like, I thought they left together, but then
they did leave
for
together.
Some reason he ended up back at the house.
Yeah. I don't remember what the justification was for them parting ways. She was like, you're not going to stand me up, are you?
They leave to go to the dance, and we see Mick and Penub heading back to the house across the yard.
Oh, so he's like trying to follow them?
Well, and he's trying to avoid them so she doesn't see them.
Right.
But I mean, it's the Halloween dance. They're just in costume too.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
In fact, you're right. I think he does send her away and says he'll meet her there.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I see. I didn't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the point where we get back to Vivica A. Fox?
It might be.
I
at the bowling alley?
No clue.
For such a kind of
reasons.
important part of this movie, she is not shown really at all until toward the end. Like, you see little glimpses, but I think this is the part, like, right around this time where she and Randy meet at the bowling alley.
Yeah, Randy
like, I think they give you, like, a snapshot
hits
of them
on her
and asks her why she's there or what she does or something like that.
She's like, you don't want to know. He's like, try me. She tells him this
crazy
her
story.
truth,
yeah,
which is I'm a
Insane.
druid princess, Chase, and he's like, oh,
Cool.
you need help?
And then he's telling her, like, oh, I just saw this guy. And he was telling me all about how his hand was doing things he didn't want it to. And she's like, are you telling me the truth?
Yeah.
Are you screwing with me? Like,
Yeah, I do kind of love that, where it's just like, oh, the plot of the movie that you're looking for? I know this
Yeah,
exact plot of the movie is happening
handing it
right here.
to you.
Yeah, I was very conflicted about that of like, man, that's efficient, but
Well, and I made a
Wow.
note about how, like, this scene was just, like, so stupidly intense for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
for some reason I did like that scene.
it was very fun and just way overly...
It was very intense, but then you could tell that Vivica Fox knew exactly what kind of movie she was in.
Yeah.
Like, she was
They were having fun with it.
chewing some scenery.
Yeah.
So now they're on the hunt.
Can't remember what, because you're right. There is a separation for some reason, and I don't remember what it is, because at this point, the hand is in the microwave, and Mick and Penub have come back and inexplicably, even though they're dead, want burritos.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
so,
always want snacks.
so they open the microwave and the hand flies out.
Uh-huh.
And they think nothing of it. Like, meh.
Not our problem.
And then the line I love where they're just like grossed out, and it's like, maybe we should clean it. And Seth Green replies, yeah, maybe we should clean the whole fucking house.
And they just microwave their burritos in this gross ass.
This is also the point at which there's a carving fork.
Yes.
Penub's having trouble eating his burrito. Seth Green says, let me fix that for you. The head goes on the carving fork.
Just skewered right on there.
Carving fork goes into the neck.
Oh,
Problem solved.
he still has some trouble eating that burrito.
And that was just disgusting.
That was the greatest. That was pretty good.
So he tries to eat it.
See, what I love about it is their tone is just like so nonchalant. It's like we're just solving everyday problems in our life.
But yeah, he's trying to eat this burrito, and because his head is, decapitated,
There's no seal.
the gross stuff is just pouring out of his neck.
Yep.
It was horrendous.
What did it look? It looked like chocolate pudding or something.
Yeah.
Coming out of his neck.
But props to the effects guys, because if there was ever chewed up bean burrito, that's...
I mean, the inside of a burrito is basically paste. But this is where the duct tape comes
Yes.
in. So Seth Green, once again, solving everyday problems.
Coming in clutch.
Yeah. just tapes his neck right up, and we're all good.
That's the sitcom that I want, is just those two
Living their life.
living their life. Living their undead life.
Yes.
So Devon Sawa comes back and flips out like, you let it out?
Yeah.
Burritos,
Whatever.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, what do they say? Anton is flipping out, and Mick is just like, oh, sorry, man, we only had two.
Like, that's what the big deal was.
Yeah.
Over the burritos.
I remember
We
that.
brought you the first aid kit.
Which never gets used. He makes a comment about how the adhesive bandages are the ouch-free kind.
Yes.
Because that's very important right
I
now.
think that's maybe the most 90s thing.
Maybe.
It's somewhere around the time after he cuts off his hand that he sees written somewhere, bad move, Anton. And so once the hand escapes, how is it that he decides, all right, well, it's going after Molly? Does he actually know that at this point, or is he just like, we got to stop it?
Yeah, I believe it's just
Okay.
that we gotta stop it.
Yeah.
And he just infers.
He doesn't find out for sure until later when he meets Debbie.
Which that happens pretty soon, right? Because they drive to the dance in his Ford.
Yeah.
Again, playing Shout at the Devil.
Well, yeah, I think that's right around this time. I think they're trying to get to the dance. They leave. They come across Debbie and Randy. They go to take the Ford, I guess. Debbie's about to go after them, and Randy is just like, do not let them take my Ford.
Yeah.
And where they hit Debbie with the Ford and knock her into the middle of the street. And we have Randy going to administer CPR with the
Oh, he's
creepy-
very excited to do
God.
it.
the
his-
sly wink and creepy nod.
His face is perfect.
I feel like I could be remembering it wrong, but I feel like he's kind of panicking at first, like, what do I do? She's going to die.
But then he has this, like, smile.
Oh.
That smile. Oh,
I know what I get to do.
maybe one of the funniest parts of this movie to me.
And then she says something about him having barf breath.
Yeah.
There's some other couple that is making out in a car with Kiss makeup on.
Which know Randy pretty well somehow. I don't know if they're
Yeah, were they at the-
related or
They were at the
friends.
bowling
They were at the
alley.
bowling alley.
Yeah,
So they're trying to fuck, so obviously the hand kills them.
yeah. Which I think even you mentioned, like, oh, they actually were able to get this kind of nudity into this movie.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She was very bare-breasted.
Yes.
I mean, there was the recording in the background, and at that point I was like, All right, we actually had MPAA at this time, so this was an R-rated movie, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
There were a lot of fucks thrown around, but you do almost forget was a R-rated movie.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it would need to be until...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I even mentioned to you, like, well, I mean, if it's already R-rated, got to throw that in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why
take
the hell
advantage.
not? Yeah.
So anyway, they're in the back of this car. The windows are up, and she keeps complaining that it's hot, so they roll down a window. The hand gets in, and...
He's feeling her up.
Yeah.
There's a third hand pops up between her boobs.
Yeah.
Really getting
gross.
in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kneading.
I mean...
Kneading like dough.
Yeah.
Which she still seems into it, too.
Yeah. Until
she
they
realizes.
see
Yeah.
And then there's just, like, blood splattered on the inside of the window.
Yeah.
So are we at the dance now?
Yes, they are in the parking lot of the dance, and this is when Mick, Penub, and Anton roll in the Ford.
So we're looking for the hand.
Yeah,
They,
looking for the
like,
hand.
Go into the gym.
And here we have the Offspring cameo as the live band, which, just on a tangent, I mean, I don't know, maybe just being from a small town in the Midwest, I never had a live band perform at any dance, let alone a Halloween
we were in a
dance.
large town.
We were in a large
and
city.
that does not happen.
Yeah, like nobody has that kind
No.
of money. I mean, they're not getting a live band of any sort.
Yeah, we were
let
lucky to
alone
have
a
an
big
actual
one.
DJ,
Yeah,
like choosing songs.
right.
Yeah, that
What
didn't
school has
happen.
that money or cares to spend it on this? But
No.
that happens in almost every like 90s rom-com.
I don't know if it was like, were they supposed to be the Offspring or were they supposed to just be some band? And
You know,
we
I
as a
don't
movie
know.
got the Offspring.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever mentioned.
No,
They don't
I
mention,
don't think so.
but
They're
either
playing
way.
Ramones,
Yeah.
So
And that was also kind of a thing I was thinking about. Like, the kind of music that they were playing at this dance, I feel like is not the popular music that they're going to play at a high school dance.
yeah,
That's the kind of music that the, like, alt kids enjoyed.
I didn't hear the Macarena, so I don't believe it. Macarena, or it didn't happen. So Anton runs up and like steals the microphone from this band
Oh, God.
and says, "What?"
What, there's a killer on the loose?
Yeah,
Something
everybody's
like
got to
that.
get out of here.
Everybody's got to get out. They're all just like, you're killing our fun.
And in the meantime, Mick and Penub are schmoozing, like trying to pick up ladies.
And in the background,
Which
you
is
also
working.
see the hand go and lock
Yeah.
the door to this auditorium gym,
Yep.
wherever they are.
Um,
Everybody's just pissed that he put a stop to the music.
So they don't believe him, and I don't remember how it happens. I remember seeing the hand, like, with his sharp nails, like, cutting through a rope and dropping something into the crowd.
Yeah, that was after the principal scene.
That was another, like...
That was,
the principal's, like, having phone sex at
and arguing
the
over
dance.
and
His credit card.
arguing over billing.
That was pretty good. Yeah, so the hand comes in, and he's trying to fuck, so he gets killed, obviously.
Yeah.
That's just the rules. Them's the rules.
But yeah, the hand and the pencil sharpener was pretty creative too.
Yes.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Just
Yeah.
the sharpening of the bones, I guess. Although I have to admit, now that I think about it, are pencil sharpeners the hole big enough to fit an index finger in?
In movie land, yes.
Yeah.
Could probably fit a pinky.
The pinky for sure.
I mean, I can't tell you the last time that I even saw a pencil sharpener.
I'm sure he just happened to have the right kind.
Of course. I mean...
Is that what you're going to question? For real?
In my possessed hand movie, yes.
Okay.
These are important details.
So the hand starts terrorizing everyone in the gym.
Including
dance.
including dude from The Offspring. He
Yeah,
like
gets
scalps
scalped.
him right
Oh
in
yeah,
front
that
of the
was
crowd.
a good one.
That was a good
I
one.
liked that a lot.
And that's when everybody like starts freaking out.
That's when they start freaking out.
Yeah, and they start to realize like, oh, Anton's not full of shit. He's for real.
So Molly and her girlfriend, who has been making out with Penub, which is, I think, the most gross thing that I experienced in this movie.
Yeah.
With still the burrito goop just all over the front of him.
I mean, she thinks he's just in costume.
She thinks he's in costume. He's got to smell.
She even like makes some comment about how creative
Yeah.
he must be. Like she's just starting to see how
He may have done all this makeup himself.
yeah, but the smell has to be like rank.
No. One might say rancid.
Yes. So they try to escape, and I don't know how they end up getting into this duct, but they do.
Yeah, they try to escape through a air duct or something. They run into the... Of course, there's going to be a fan blade.
The industrial sized, could cut a car in half, fan blade.
Despite the fact that we're just in high school, and
The
but yes,
One smart thing that Molly does is take her friend's shoe and try to jam it in the fan so that they can fit through without getting chopped up.
which let me be honest here. Even if she somehow gets it to stop. I'm not going through that. I'll take my chances with the hand, because fuck that.
She did her due diligence. Like, she tried to kick it a couple times, make sure it wouldn't come loose.
I guess.
Not to mention this meat grinder of a fan is stopped by a red pump.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
So she goes down first.
Yeah.
She doesn't even send her friend down first.
No.
She goes down first.
Molly makes it through. She's on the floor, safe.
Yelling at her friend, like, come down, come down. Her friend's horrified. Her friend is me. Her friend, I would be dead.
Except for the making out with Penub.
I mean, yeah.
Except for that.
But her friend's freaking out. She's scared. She's like, I'm going to die one way or the other. If I go through that fan, I'm dead. If I stay here, I'm dead. And then you start to see the rope pulling back. And Molly's like, why'd you pull the rope up? And her friend says, I didn't pull the rope up. And then she gets, the rope around the neck.
And then drop down.
So she's hanging.
And you think, oh, she's just going to choke to death. That's not how she's going to die.
Or maybe the fan blades will start up again and she'll fall to the floor and be fine.
Maybe.
Doesn't happen that way.
The fan blades do start back up.
But it pulls the rope in.
And pulls her right up into it, and you just see splatter.
Yep.
Molly doesn't even freak out as much as you would think. She's just like...
She's got bloodstains on her dress now.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to Vivica Fox again, because she's the reason we know anything about the lore of this hand. What is it going after, and how does she know this?
So... I can't remember exactly how she mentioned it earlier on when she's talking to Randy, but she mentions that this curse or this whatever is going to go into a hand of the laziest person, and then it's going to take a free soul into the netherworld, is what she says.
Okay. So how do we know it's going to be Molly specifically?
I don't think we ever get a solid... Do we?
No.
I think it's just kind of inferred that...
Jessica Alba is the star of the movie and the hot girl, so it is her.
It's going to be her. Yeah.
Yep. So then where are we? Where's the team? Where's the A-team right now? They're like, are they following the hand? Have they seen it?
Well, Mick and Penub were crawling through the vents at this point, which another funny line of, I'm not crawling through all that Tanya.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did like that one.
Poor Penub's sad because he's not going to get any. And Seth Green's like, you weren't going to.
Yeah.
Or I doubt it.
Yeah.
No, doesn't he say you can still get a piece right here?
Oh, God. Yeah.
But they head back, and no, this is where Vivica A. Fox and Anton and Randy all
collide.
Meet.
Right.
Vivica A. Fox has fulfilled her role of delivering the knife MacGuffin.
Yeah. And at this point, she's kind of fights it out with Anton because she doesn't realize, I guess, that the hand was cut off. And she's like fully intent on stabbing
killing
Anton.
this dude. Like, this is how we solve this problem is you die.
She's like, well, I can help you.
Yeah. Die.
That's help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somehow we come to find out that, he's cut his hand off. The hand's loose. She's makes a comment about, well, that wasn't very smart, was it?
Yeah. She's not very happy about it.
And then where are we at?
God, I don't know.
Wait.
Movie.
And that was the point where she says that there will be a sacrifice. The hand's going to make a sacrifice at midnight, which Anton replies that it's only 9 o'clock.
It's 9, yeah.
So we have a couple of hours here.
And she checks her watch.
Which is on Druid time.
And we have 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, of course.
And there's 20 minutes left of the movie.
It's Druid time. What is Druid time?
It's probably on GMT.
So I guess now we're all trying to find the hand.
Is it Mick and Penub end up in the auto shop?
No, we end up in the art room with the advanced puppetry making class.
I remember going in through that door, but I don't remember what happened in that room. Because I just remember my brain is skipping ahead to the bong.
Yeah. So do we find anything in this room? Do we have any interactions with the hand, or do we just go through there?
Well, we see the creepy white-faced doll and the eyes that slowly pan across the room, and we find out that the hand is enacting puppetry, and that's just the first puppet. Hence why I said this is a class of advanced puppetry, because there are just multiple puppets around this room, and then they get in a struggle. The hand takes over the goofiest puppet I've ever seen. The bald-headed, squiggly, black-haired.
Perfect.
Very 90s.
Side note, puppetry is like a legit thing. Another podcast that I listened to and you've listened to before. Did you know Molly from Page 7 went to college for advanced puppetry and like studied abroad for a semester for advanced puppetry and like...
I did not know that about her, but I mean, I know
that's like a thing she did.
Marionette work is serious business.
Yeah, like she legit
Henson
studied
Company stuff.
abroad for like a year or something.
I could very much see it being a lot like a theater performance art kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know what the market is for that, but
I don't know.
I mean, this is the second movie that we've talked about on this podcast that deals with puppetry. There was a lot of that in Being John Malkovich.
I have still not seen it. I've heard the episode, but haven't watched it.
It's fine.
But after the art class that I can't really remember much about, so let's just get to that auto shop class that we both
auto
remember.
shop. This is the fun part.
Yep.
Everything's coming to a head.
Mm-hmm.
We see Jessica Alba strapped to the car.
Yes.
That was strapped to a car by a single hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She's on the roof of a car. Y'all are gonna have to help me with the sequence of events here.
So I think it's pretty quick. Like they come in, they see her up there, and the hand starts like it hits the crank where it starts going up.
Yeah, with the pentagram on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure out, like, kind of fighting with Puppet, trying to get it to stop. There's a struggle. And then, is this when the crazy...
Oh, let's not forget Anton jumping up and trying to reach Molly on top of the car and removes the rest of the midriff of the angel costume.
Yep.
I mean...
She's left in panties and not even the bodice, just like the bra. So that happened.
Car keeps going up.
Yep.
Keeps going.
Gonna get smooshed.
I think I even made a comment. There's no way that thing is set up in a school to go up all the way to the ceiling. Like, in what universe? I don't know anything about auto shop, anything
Again,
like that.
is this the thing you're going to nitpick?
I mean, yes.
Pencil sharpeners in auto shop class.
These are very important parts of this movie.
A lot of things hinge on those.
Exactly. But anyway, they're trying to get this thing to stop.
Yep.
Unsuccessfully. The
three guys can't fight off the single hand holding the crank down.
So they light him up.
So they reach for Mighty Joe Bong.
Which is intense.
Yeah,
holy crap.
Dumb.
on top of, that's a reference right there that no one will remember. That did not age well. The movie Mighty Joe Young of the giant gorilla.
I don't know that I ever saw it, but I definitely remember the title and vaguely what it was about. I was more of a George of the Jungle because I was a young woman at that time, and that was a young Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
What a charming man.
But yeah, we light up and blow smoke into the puppet that then gets the hand high.
Yeah, I have questions about that.
Which proceeds to glaze over and roll the eyes back in the puppet.
Of the puppet.
I don't think you're going to find answers to your questions.
Okay. You're just assuming you know what my questions are?
I mean, let's hear them.
So the hand gets high and falls off the lever.
Because that's the thing.
That's how that works.
Happen.
And then what?
So I feel like they still kind of struggle getting this thing to stop, don't they?
No, they stop the car, save the day.
She's like inches away from the ceiling.
And don't bother lowering it. Let's just save her from the top of the car right there.
Which, let me interject. I would be scared that I would accidentally like fuck up somehow and like accidentally send her into the ceiling. So I can kind of understand just pulling her down.
I guess. Okay.
I'd be
You've
a little.
convinced me.
I'd like to think I wouldn't be that dumb, but shit happens. So they save the day, right? Like,
yep. Movie's over, right?
You would think.
Something happens where the car falls.
Yeah, they're like making out. Oh wait.
Before that, even is that the point where the hand comes back to life and jumps out, and Vivica A. Fox hits it with the knife that goes into
she like one shots that
Nick's chest. It poofs.
Yeah.
We see a little flash and just a little cloud
it's
of
like
smoke.
the wussiest little.
Yeah,
it's weak.
Yeah. He's like, that's it?
In my notes, I say it's weak AF.
Yeah. I believe he uses the word weak. Like, he's like, I mean, I'm glad it's over, but man, it's disappointing. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yes, then we have a reuniting under the car of Devon Sawa has claimed his object,
a young man
Molly.
who has lost his parents and a hand, but has a girlfriend now, so it's fine.
Yeah, life's good, right?
Also, apparently it wasn't the bait in hand. He did make a comment about that. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be fine.
So yeah, you would think the movie's over.
One would think.
They go to lower the car, and this thing just collapses like a stack of cards.
Was it Panub, I guess, says, wasn't supposed to go down that fast.
Right on top of Anton.
Right on top
and
of...
I don't know how Molly's not, like, under there.
Don't
but
know.
somehow she is fine.
I didn't ask. So we're like, man, after all this kid's gonna die?
No. You see Panub and Mick, they're, like, heading towards the light finally. And they turn back and they're like, Anton, you coming? And then it cuts to a hospital bed.
We did forget to mention earlier that they had the chance to go into heaven earlier, but the light was too far away to walk, so they just came back. That's the level of slacker that we're talking about here.
I mean, I have days where I would probably make that choice.
I have major depression. I'm not going to say I haven't spent an entire weekend in bed, but come on.
Oh, God.
With that choir that sounded like Enya.
Yes.
Yeah. Which personally offended me. I like Enya.
I don't know if I could listen to it for the rest of my
Caribbean
eternal life.
I bet my mom could help you out. She's a Enya connoisseur. So, Anton's not dead. Mick and Penub are still there.
He chose not to follow them into the light.
Right. And they were, I don't know by whom, but they were sent back to watch over him.
Be his guardian angels.
They're his guardian angels.
And so what does he do?
Oh, they don't look, they're not dead anymore. They're just ghosts.
Yeah.
They look alive.
Yeah.
But ghosts.
Don't they have wings now?
I believe so.
I feel like
I
they had
don't
angel
remember.
wings at that point.
I could be conflating that with What's-Her-Face's costume.
Could be too. I'm gonna...
She wants to know.
I want to see if I can find a picture.
I wish death worked that way, where you just get to choose. Like, I'm good. I'll stay here.
Yeah.
I know, right? That'd be sweet.
So, What's-Her-Face is there, right? She's like taking care of Anton.
Yeah.
And so Mick and Penub go. One of them says, let's go walk through a nurse. And then Anton sees on the ceiling. I already forget what it is. The thing from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm under the bed.
I'm under the bed.
And he freaks out.
And he flips out. He's only got one hand left.
And then we find out it's just Mick and Penub fucking with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the end, I think.
I think that's the end.
Boy,
Boy.
that was rude.
All right. Does this movie hold up?
I think it depends on...
Did it hold up to your expectations of what you remembered from when you had seen it on HBO?
I mean, I was definitely worried watching this movie again, where it's like, because I remember really liking it when I was younger, and...
He kind of hyped it up to me, I feel like.
And then that moment of panic set in, like, oh no, was this really actually that good of a movie? But I think it totally holds up as a movie. It's 90s as hell.
Yes, it is.
It's definitely not... It follows all the tropes of the problems with current horror movies of how do we find this person? Whereas nowadays it's just, oh yeah, we call their cell phone.
Yeah.
Where back then it was you had to track people down physically.
I feel like if you're looking at it from this is a goofy horror movie, it holds up.
It's
it holds up for what it was trying to be.
Exactly.
You know, there's nothing egregious, really. You got some, as we talked about earlier, some slurs in there that you're not going to hear today, but it's not even that.
And if you want to get
frequent.
into the female characters,
True.
that's not great.
Yes, this movie was written by possibly a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah. But
But it's still an enjoyable ride the whole time.
Yeah.
and even those things that stand out, they're still not as egregious as a lot of.
I did enjoy it. It did make
movies.
me laugh. I was having fun with the special effects. Seth
Yeah.
Green was amazing. He's just fucking cute as a button.
So I enjoy this movie a great deal.
So then, what's the thing? When you decide, hey, I'm going to watch Idle Hands, what is the scene that is in your head when you're putting that DVD in?
I mean, for me, there's a couple of things that stand out. One of them is like a completely unimportant, dumb part of the movie that happens early on, but I can remember, I know I watched this the first time in October, but I remember the scarecrow pumpkin heads and thinking how cool that is.
Yeah.
And I want that in my house.
Okay.
See, I think the microwave and the bean burrito, the real gross parts, I remembered.
That's a big one.
But it was almost like stuff that I didn't remember. Like, I did forget how actually gory this movie kind of is. Like, the kills are intense for being a comedy movie.
They're pretty rough.
Yeah, the microwave is a big one for me.
As far as like funny parts of it that stand out to me as well, though, the bagel slicer.
Yeah. That's
I
a good
remember
one, too.
that one.
I don't know that I will remember specific lines, but just those two dead buddies bantering, that's probably going to be like my fuzzy warm feelings of that's what that movie was.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the thing for me is those two characters. Yeah, so yours is the gore in the microwave.
I just like the aesthetic. I feel like they made it intentionally very fake, but that's what made it so fun and just perfect for what it was.
Yeah, I think you have to do that with the comedy or else the tone doesn't really come across right.
Yeah.
Because you can't really have fun with it if it seems too serious. I think they really hit the nail on the head with that.
I think so.
They walked that line. It's the most 90s thing about this movie.
Boy. having to pick out the most 90s thing is going to be rough for this one because it is glaringly 90s all the way.
I mean, even the fact that they watched music videos throughout, isn't that a relic of the past?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, Two Live
On
Crew.
a TV.
Yeah, a TV channel dedicated to moving pictures backed by music.
The cast was very 90s to me.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you don't really hear from Jessica Alba anymore. You don't really hear from Devon Sawa
Not much.
anymore.
She was in a couple other, like, thriller things, couple TV shows.
I mean, isn't she busy being filthy rich now?
Probably. I think so.
Because
Doesn't she have a blog now? And that's, like, what she does with her life. She has a mommy vlog.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, no, that Pure brand, I think that's her brand. And she's, like, a multi-millionaire from that. Well, I mean, she was already from acting, but I mean, I think
Good for her.
I think she's like a mommy blogger too now.
Yeah, like the baby stuff is.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you're? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Pure Brands, and it's like baby products, like wipes and diapers and all that stuff.
We're on the same page. I just didn't know that that's what it was.
She's making bank. She was doing fine before. She's doing even more fine now.
Even more fine.
Even more fine.
Must be nice.
Yay, capitalism.
Late stage capitalism.
Yeah.
Anyway, the music was so 90s. We've already talked about the F slur. I feel like there was something else.
You mentioned last night the TV that they were actually watching it on, like the
had
physical
knobs.
TV, and was like in a like whole thing.
An old CRT.
Yeah.
Entertainment center.
Yeah.
That's what those were called.
That's what I was trying to think of.
I did notice the remote was big and blocky and looked kind of like an NES controller with like silver and red buttons.
And I think we mentioned this in almost every one of these, but just the clothing, like Jessica Alba's outfits, those were very 90s.
Like the short shorts.
Kind of cargo-y pants at one point.
I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the dudes' clothes, but...
I mean, they didn't really change. And
no, that was kind of a thing, though. Layers for guys, like a t-shirt with a button-up on it.
And super baggy.
Super baggy.
Although Seth Green wearing the porn star t-shirt, which I don't know why
I missed that.
That was
I did too.
Yeah, the entire movie, he's wearing the same shirt that says porn star, which seemed to be a thing.
It was kind of a thing in the 90s. I remember that. I didn't notice that that's what he was wearing.
I was too busy looking at his face, I guess. All right. I think we need to take a break.
Idle hands, man.
Any other thoughts?
What happened to the dog? I just now realized,
that was a point I wanted to mention from earlier on in the movie. I was so pissed that when he was like scared of a killer in the house, that he's gonna freaking push the dog in front of him. Like,
that poor dog was so sad.
Leave the puppy alone.
He just wants his food.
What a jerk.
Cat'll be fine. Bones is a cute name, though. It was kind of interesting to have a horror movie that had a cat and it wasn't a black cat.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Although it had the violence against the cat, because we don't want to hurt a dog, because that ruins movies for people, but let's throw that ragdoll cat out the window.
We never do find out if the cat's fine, but
It'll land on its feet.
But yeah, super underrated movie for the time.
I would definitely say that it is a good bad movie.
I would gladly watch it again.
For that $25 million budget, I think it made about $4 million of it back.
Really?
It bombed.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd ever heard of it.
I feel like I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was.
Because I didn't follow any of those actors.
And because I didn't know what it was, I never had a desire to watch it until you mentioned it to me. Like, I didn't even know it was supposed to be like a horror comedy.
Well, I thought it was cute.
I think it did a really good job.
Yeah, it knows what it is, for sure.
And they executed it perfect.
Yeah. Do you think it'll hold up in another 20 years?
I think so.
I definitely think so. I think it's just like it has aged now. It's still an enjoyable watch when you want a horror comedy, something.
There will definitely be things that stand out more and more over time, I think, but nothing that will make it not fun to watch. Like,
race is kind of a weird thing that I think we're going to be more and more conscious of in media going forward, especially now that we have, like, Jordan Peele is bringing out these kick-ass horror films. Like, having black characters that have their own agency and...
I was going to say, don't die first.
Well, yes, there is that. I don't know. In general, I think a 90s horror comedy is going to age better than an 80s horror comedy.
Yeah. I can't even think of any 80s horror comedies.
Lot from the 80s that has not aged well already.
Yeah, you could say, like, Evil Dead. Wasn't that technically horror comedy? I mean, the first one wasn't, but the second, Evil Dead 2.
Have we even watched that? I know you went to great lengths to find it, but...
Yeah, I haven't made you watch it yet. I
don't-
always want to, but
I don't think that's one that's made it yet.
because Army of Darkness wasn't until the 90s, I don't think. So
That sounds right.
I can't remember.
I can't either. All right. Any last
All
thoughts before we take these headphones off our
I
brains?
think I'm spent.
Yeah, I think I'm.
That was a much more winding road than I.
Yes.
I was gonna say you got
Anticipated.
another one to go.
I
Good
know.
luck.
Man, did I make that up?
What
else?
don't remember.
Huh. Oh well. I'm pretty sure the kids say that to him.
Okay.
I'm probably wrong.
You might be right, and it's just
We'll fact check myself before I edit
there you
and
go.
see what I leave in.